Ladies and gentlemen, today we're diving into something truly transformative, the idea of rebuilding yourself. Now, let's get honest. Have you ever felt stuck? Like you're capable of so much more but can't seem to break through? If you felt that, you're not alone. And that feeling, that frustration, can be one of the greatest gifts you ever receive. Why? Because it's a signal. It's a wake-up call telling you that something needs to change. Rebuilding yourself starts with one undeniable truth. True change, the kind that lasts, comes from within. It's easy to think that transformation happens when external circumstances change, when you land that job, when you find that relationship, or when you move to that new city. And while these changes can bring temporary relief, they're just that, temporary. If we rely solely on external conditions, we're setting ourselves up for a cycle of temporary highs followed by inevitable lows. True, lasting change is something you build within yourself so that no matter what circumstances you face, you have the foundation to adapt, grow, and thrive. To rebuild from within, the first essential step is making a choice. It might sound simple, but there's power in this moment of decision. Many people go through life feeling that change happens to them, not realizing that the most significant changes are those we actively choose. When you decide that you are ready to rebuild yourself, to leave behind old patterns and embrace new ones, you're taking control of your own path. This decision is the switch that flips a light on in a dark room. It's a quiet moment, often just with yourself, but it's the start of something profound. Once you've made that decision, it's about shifting your mindset. You've got to believe deep down that you're capable of change. The mind is a powerful tool, and the way you think about yourself will directly influence the way you act. If you're constantly doubting, constantly thinking that rebuilding is impossible, that's exactly what you'll get. But when you choose to believe that growth is possible, you open yourself to the endless opportunities around you. You begin to look at challenges differently, not as roadblocks, but as stepping stones. The obstacles you face start to feel more like opportunities to learn and strengthen yourself rather than reasons to quit. Rebuilding from within isn't about rejecting who you've been or disliking your current self. Quite the opposite, it's about embracing who you are right now while realizing you can be so much more. It's acknowledging the person you are today, with all your strengths and flaws, and deciding that you are worth the effort of growth. This mindset is crucial because too often we think that rebuilding ourselves means abandoning who we are. But in truth, rebuilding is about taking all the best parts of yourself and expanding them, while also letting go of any limitations or negative patterns that no longer serve you. As you start to rebuild, there will be moments of doubt. These are natural, and if anything, they're a sign that you're moving in the right direction. Doubt arises when we step out of our comfort zones. When you face it, remember that doubt doesn't mean failure, it means growth. The fact that you're questioning yourself is proof that you're moving beyond the old, familiar version of yourself. Embrace it. Talk to yourself in those moments as you would to a friend, encouraging, understanding, and kind. Remind yourself of why you started, of the commitment you made to change from within. One of the most significant aspects of rebuilding yourself from within is the habit of taking responsibility. For many, this is a turning point. Taking responsibility for your life, your choices, and your actions is an empowering shift. When you accept that you are accountable for your growth, it's liberating. It's no longer about blaming your past, other people, or your environment. It's about taking ownership. And with that ownership comes control. You begin to see that if you have the power to choose, you also have the power to improve. Taking responsibility isn't about guilt or blame, it's about giving yourself the authority to make changes. To rebuild from within is to embrace the power of patience. There's no shortcut to lasting change. In a world that glorifies quick fixes and instant results, rebuilding is a quiet but powerful reminder that true growth takes time. Each day, as you take small steps, be it adopting a new habit, facing a fear, or learning something new, you're laying the bricks for a stronger, more resilient foundation. Some days it may not feel like you're progressing, but remember that growth is often invisible. Like a plant rooting underground before it ever breaks the soil, your internal change may be unseen, but it's happening. Trust the process. Rebuilding yourself from within means valuing progress over perfection. The journey is not about becoming a flawless person, but a better one, day by day. Every effort you make to grow, no matter how small, counts. The little steps add up, And soon enough, you'll look back and see just how far you've come. Remember, each step is a victory, a testament to your commitment to change. And every small win reinforces your belief that rebuilding yourself is not only possible, but entirely worth it. So embrace the journey of rebuilding from within. It's a challenge, but it's also a gift. By choosing to change from the inside out, you're giving yourself the strength to face anything life throws your way, creating a foundation of resilience and growth that no external force can shake. When embarking on a journey to rebuild yourself, there's an essential first step that often goes overlooked: self-awareness. Self-awareness is the foundation on which all personal growth is built. Think about it. How can you improve something if you don't fully understand it? Rebuilding yourself isn't about covering up flaws or forcing change without reflection. It's about seeing yourself clearly, understanding your strengths, your weaknesses, your habits, and your patterns. Without this honest insight, you're just making superficial adjustments. But with it, you're setting yourself up for true transformation. Self-awareness begins with taking a hard, objective look at who you are right now, in this very moment. It's not always easy. In fact, it can be uncomfortable. You might see things you don't like, habits, thought patterns, or limiting beliefs that have been holding you back for years. But there's immense power in this discomfort, because awareness is the first step toward change. When you understand where you are, you can start making intentional, thoughtful decisions about where you want to go. Imagine it like a map. If you don't know your starting point, no map in the world can guide you effectively to your destination. To cultivate self-awareness, it's important to step outside your usual way of thinking. We're all creatures of habit, and sometimes we go through life on autopilot, reacting in familiar ways without really questioning why. To break out of this cycle, start by examining your reactions, choices, and feelings. Ask yourself questions: why do I react this way in certain situations? What thoughts come up when I'm facing challenges? What am I most proud of in my life, and what do I wish were different? These aren't questions with quick or easy answers, but they're essential for understanding the foundation you're working with. One effective method for building self-awareness is to spend time alone, reflecting or journaling. Write down your thoughts and experiences, and don't worry about making them neat or polished. This is for you. Write about your day, your goals, your fears, and the things that make you excited or anxious. Over time, patterns will emerge. You'll start to see common themes. Maybe you notice that you shy away from challenges because you fear failure. Or maybe you see that you get a boost of confidence when you accomplish something small. These insights are like pieces of a puzzle, helping you understand yourself on a deeper level. Another powerful way to cultivate self-awareness is through feedback from others. We all have blind spots, parts of ourselves that we can't see clearly but that others may notice. This doesn't mean you should take every opinion to heart, but honest, constructive feedback can be incredibly valuable. Ask trusted friends, family members, or colleagues for their perspectives. What do they see as your strengths? Where do they think you can improve? This isn't about changing to meet others' expectations. It's about using feedback as a tool to see yourself more clearly. Sometimes an outside perspective reveals something you hadn't noticed, but that resonates deeply once you hear it. As you start to see yourself more clearly, it's also essential to practice self-compassion. Being self-aware doesn't mean judging yourself harshly or focusing on your flaws. It means acknowledging both your strengths and weaknesses with kindness and understanding. No one is perfect, and we all have areas where we can grow. Rebuilding yourself isn't about tearing yourself down. It's about building on what's already there. So, as you face uncomfortable truths, remind yourself that this is a courageous journey, and growth always involves a certain level of vulnerability. Self-awareness is also about recognizing the habits that shape your daily life. Habits are powerful because they run in the background, often without us realizing it. Some of these habits serve us well, while others hold us back. Start observing your routines, the things you do automatically. Do you reach for your phone first thing in the morning, or do you take a few minutes to set a positive intention for the day? Do you react to stress by procrastinating or by taking action? These small habits add up and define much of your experience. The more you become aware of them, the more you can consciously shape them in ways that support your goals and values. Self-awareness also involves identifying and understanding your triggers. Triggers are situations or events that bring up strong emotions, often negative ones, which can cloud our judgment. When you know what triggers you, you can start to manage your reactions and prevent them from derailing your progress. For example, if you know that criticism makes you defensive, You can prepare yourself to respond more thoughtfully instead of reacting impulsively. Knowing your triggers is a powerful way to stay in control and make choices that align with the person you want to become. Self-awareness requires patience and persistence. It's not a one-time exercise, it's an ongoing practice. As you continue to grow, you'll find that there's always more to discover. Embracing this journey means continuously seeking a deeper understanding of yourself, even as you change and evolve. Some days you may feel like you're making great progress, other days you may feel stuck or frustrated. But that's part of the process. Each insight, each moment of reflection is a step forward. In rebuilding yourself, let self-awareness be your guide. See yourself with clarity, accept yourself with compassion, and take responsibility for who you are and who you want to become. This foundation of self-awareness will give you the direction and purpose you need, no matter what challenges arise along the way. When you know yourself deeply, you're no longer swayed by every setback or external influence. You're building from a place of strength and authenticity, creating a life that truly reflects who you are and who you aspire to be. When you set out to rebuild yourself, it's natural to feel overwhelmed by the big picture of what you want to accomplish. You might envision the end result, a transformed version of yourself, free from old habits, full of new skills, confident and capable. This vision is inspiring, but it can also seem daunting. The key to achieving any significant transformation lies in understanding and embracing the power of small, consistent actions. It's the small, often seemingly insignificant steps taken every day that create the foundation for monumental change over time. Real growth, the kind that lasts, rarely happens overnight. We often underestimate the power of small actions because we live in a world that celebrates big wins and overnight success. But if you look closely, those big wins are usually the result of countless tiny steps that no one saw. The truth is that small actions compound over time, and their cumulative effect can be life-changing. Just like interest on an investment, small efforts build up, creating a steady momentum that moves you closer to your goals each day. Imagine that you're climbing a mountain. At the base, the peak may look impossibly far away. If you focus only on reaching the top, the journey can feel overwhelming, maybe even impossible. But if you focus on taking one step at a time, suddenly the challenge becomes more manageable. With each small step, you're closer to the top than you were before. That's the power of small, consistent actions. They keep you moving forward without requiring you to achieve everything at once. One of the benefits of starting with small steps is that they're approachable. When you commit to a massive change all at once, you often set yourself up for frustration and burnout. Big changes require big energy, focus, and willpower, all of which can be difficult to sustain over time. But small actions don't require as much energy. They're doable even on days when motivation is low. For example, if your goal is to get in shape, starting with a 10-minute walk each day is more sustainable than jumping straight into an intense exercise regimen that you'll likely struggle to keep up. Over time, that 10-minute walk could become a 20-minute jog, then a 30-minute workout, and so on. Another advantage of taking small steps is that they allow you to build confidence gradually. Each small achievement, no matter how minor it seems, boosts your self-esteem and reinforces your belief that change is possible. Every time you complete a small action, you're proving to yourself that you're capable. These little successes build momentum, making it easier to tackle slightly larger goals down the road. When you see progress, even if it's tiny, you begin to feel a sense of accomplishment. This momentum keeps you going, even when things get tough. Small steps create a positive feedback loop. You see results, and then you feel motivated to keep going. Small actions are also valuable because they allow room for learning and adjustment. When you're rebuilding yourself, you won't always get everything right on the first try, and that's perfectly fine. Small steps give you the flexibility to make adjustments along the way. If one approach doesn't work, you can try a different one without feeling like you've lost too much ground. For instance, if your goal is to develop a new skill, starting with a small daily practice allows you to refine your methods, find what works best for you, and make gradual improvements. This approach is much more effective than diving in headfirst and risking burnout or frustration from unrealistic expectations. Consistent actions allow you to form new habits, which is one of the most powerful tools in the process of rebuilding yourself. Habits shape our lives more than we realize. The things we do every day, no matter how minor, become part of who we are over time. Small actions are the building blocks of habits, and habits are the building blocks of transformation. When you repeat a small action consistently, it becomes easier and more automatic. You begin to incorporate it into your daily routine until it feels natural and effortless. Once a small action has become a habit, you're free to focus on building the next one, gradually layering new habits that bring you closer to the person you want to become. Consider, for example, the habit of reading. If your goal is to read more, you don't need to start with a commitment to read for an hour each day. Instead, begin with just 5 minutes a day. Those 5 minutes may not seem like much, but over the course of a year, they add up. Eventually, 5 minutes may turn into 10, then 20. What started as a small action evolves into a regular habit, enriching your life in ways you may not have anticipated at the beginning. Perhaps most importantly, the practice of taking small, consistent actions cultivates discipline and resilience. Life is full of challenges and setbacks, and when we place too much pressure on ourselves to achieve massive goals immediately, we're more likely to give up when obstacles arise. But when we focus on smaller steps, we're able to keep moving forward, even on difficult days. Discipline doesn't mean pushing yourself to the brink every day. It means showing up consistently, no matter what. Each small action taken, despite the circumstances, strengthens your resilience. It's a commitment to progress, even if it's just a tiny bit each day. As you set out to rebuild yourself, remember that you don't need to take huge leaps to make meaningful change. Small steps, done consistently, will carry you further than sporadic bursts of effort ever could. Embrace the power of these small actions and trust in their cumulative impact. Over time, you'll find that the small daily steps have transformed not only your habits, but also your sense of self, your mindset, and your entire approach to life. The journey of rebuilding yourself isn't about grand gestures, it's about small, consistent actions that day by day lead to profound and lasting change. When you embark on the journey to rebuild yourself, it's natural to fear failure. Failure can feel painful, disappointing, and sometimes even discouraging enough to make you want to give up. But here's the reality: failure is not only an inevitable part of the process, it's an essential one. Embracing failure as part of growth is one of the most powerful mindsets you can cultivate. It's in the mistakes, the missteps, and the challenges that you often find your greatest learning experiences. Without failure, growth would be limited because you wouldn't have the opportunity to learn where you need to improve or adjust. Failure isn't something to avoid, it's something to learn from. To truly rebuild yourself, you must come to see failure differently. It's not a dead end or an indication that you're on the wrong path. Instead, it's feedback. Failure gives you direct insight into what's working, what isn't, and what you might need to do differently next time. If you take each failure as a lesson rather than a defeat, you can turn every setback into a stepping stone toward the person you want to become. Every time something doesn't go as planned, you're given a new opportunity to refine your approach, to try again with greater knowledge, and to come back stronger. One of the most liberating realizations you can have is that failure is temporary. When you experience a setback, it's easy to feel as if that failure defines you, but it's just a single moment in time. Think of failure as a snapshot, not a full-length movie. It captures one scene, but it doesn't tell the whole story. You're not defined by the moments when things go wrong, you're defined by what you do afterward. People who rebuild themselves successfully are those who don't let failure keep them down. They understand that falling down is a part of the process, but staying down is a choice. One of the most valuable aspects of failure is that it builds resilience. Resilience is the ability to keep going, even when things get tough. Without failure, you never have the chance to develop the strength to face future obstacles. Each time you encounter a setback and push through it, you're strengthening your resilience. You're training yourself to handle adversity and teaching yourself that you're capable of bouncing back from disappointments. This resilience becomes a crucial part of your foundation as you rebuild. It's a skill that will serve you well in every aspect of life, helping you face challenges with confidence rather than fear. Failure also helps you develop a realistic understanding of growth. When you embrace failure as a natural part of the process, you stop expecting perfection. You start to see that real growth is messy and filled with ups and downs. It's not a straight line, and it's rarely as smooth as you might imagine. Embracing this reality is freeing because it allows you to take risks, try new things, and step outside your comfort zone without the constant fear of making mistakes. When you know that failure is part of the journey, you're willing to experiment more, to push yourself a bit harder, and to aim for goals that truly challenge you. The understanding that growth includes failure removes the pressure to be perfect and instead encourages you to stay committed. Think about the people you admire, the individuals who have achieved great things or who seem to embody resilience and strength. Behind every one of their successes is a story of countless failures. They didn't reach their achievements by avoiding mistakes, they got there by learning from them. They faced rejection, made wrong turns, and stumbled, but they kept going. Every failure added to their understanding, refined their approach, and ultimately contributed to their success. In this way, failure becomes not a setback, but a building block in your journey. Failure teaches humility. When everything goes well, it's easy to feel as though you're invincible or that success is guaranteed. But when you face failure, you're reminded that growth takes effort, learning, and persistence. It keeps you grounded and encourages you to approach your goals with a mindset of continual learning rather than overconfidence. Humility isn't about thinking less of yourself, it's about understanding that there's always room to learn and grow. It makes you open to feedback, willing to seek guidance, and ready to improve. In this way, failure can keep you grounded and motivated, fostering a mindset of lifelong learning. Another powerful benefit of failure is that it brings clarity. Sometimes when you fail, you realize that what you were pursuing wasn't actually aligned with your values or true desires. Failure can be a reality check, forcing you to reevaluate your goals and make adjustments where needed. It helps you identify what truly matters and allows you to focus on the things that are genuinely meaningful to you. By giving you a chance to reassess, failure can prevent you from spending time and energy on pursuits that won't ultimately bring fulfillment or happiness. As you rebuild yourself, embrace the idea that failure is a teacher, not an enemy. When you experience setbacks, ask yourself, what can I learn from this? What could I do differently next time? How has this experience made me stronger? Each failure gives you answers to these questions and brings you closer to your goals. It might not feel that way in the moment, but over time, you'll see how every stumble was part of the process of becoming who you're meant to be. These moments of learning and growth build character, deepen your resilience, and strengthen your commitment to your goals. Remember that failure is a shared experience. Everyone at some point faces setbacks. When you're in the midst of it, it's easy to feel alone, or as if no one else has struggled like you have. But the truth is, everyone has encountered failure. It's universal. And recognizing this can make the journey easier. When you remember that failure is a shared experience, it gives you a sense of connection. You're not the only one who has struggled, and you're not the only one who will overcome. Embracing failure as part of growth transforms your entire outlook on rebuilding yourself. Instead of seeing obstacles as barriers, you begin to see them as essential parts of your journey. Every setback becomes an opportunity to grow, to learn, and to become more resilient. So allow failure to teach you, to strengthen you, and to guide you. Each misstep is a stepping stone, and as you accumulate these stones, you're building the path toward the person you're striving to become. As you work on rebuilding yourself, surrounding yourself with supportive people can make all the difference in your journey. The people you regularly interact with have a profound influence on your mindset, habits, and overall progress. They can either lift you up, encourage you, and provide valuable insight, or they can hold you back, cloud your vision, and reinforce old, limiting beliefs. That's why it's essential to intentionally build a network of positive, growth-oriented people who believe in you and your goals. Rebuilding yourself isn't a solitary journey, even though the work often feels personal and internal. Along the way, you'll face challenges, doubts, and moments of struggle. Having a group of supportive people around you provides the encouragement and accountability you need during these times. When you have people who understand and believe in your goals, it becomes easier to stay focused and keep pushing forward, even when the road gets tough. The people you surround yourself with have a way of shaping your self-belief. When others see potential in you and encourage you to achieve more, you begin to internalize that belief and see yourself through their eyes. If you're surrounded by people who doubt you or question your goals, that negativity can seep into your own mindset, making it harder to believe in yourself. But when you're surrounded by people who inspire and uplift you, their energy and optimism rub off on you. They remind you that you're capable, that setbacks are temporary, and that you're on a worthwhile path. This positive reinforcement helps strengthen your resilience and keeps you motivated, even when your own belief may waver. Having a support network also gives you access to different perspectives and insights. Often, the people we choose to surround ourselves with have experiences and knowledge that can be incredibly valuable to us. They can offer guidance, share strategies that have worked for them, and give advice that you might not have thought of on your own. Sometimes they can spot potential challenges before you even encounter them, or suggest approaches that could speed up your progress. These insights can be especially helpful when you're navigating unfamiliar territory or trying to overcome obstacles. By learning from their experiences, you're able to avoid certain mistakes, approach problems with more wisdom, and make better informed decisions along your path of self-rebuilding. Your support network is also essential for holding you accountable. When you set out to make significant changes, it's easy to fall back into old habits, especially if those changes are challenging or take time to show results. Having supportive people around you gives you a sense of accountability. You know that others are watching, that they're invested in your success, and that they're rooting for you to stay on track. This can be a powerful motivator to keep going, even when you feel like giving up. Friends or mentors who encourage you to check in on your goals, celebrate your wins, and remind you of your progress create a sense of shared responsibility. You're not just doing this for yourself, you're also motivated by the desire to make those who believe in you proud. Supportive people also provide a safe space to be vulnerable. Rebuilding yourself involves moments of uncertainty and self-doubt. It's natural to feel scared or unsure, and having people who allow you to express these feelings without judgment is invaluable. They provide a shoulder to lean on, a sounding board for your worries, and reassurance when you need it most. This emotional support can make a tremendous difference during difficult times. Instead of feeling isolated, you feel understood. Instead of bottling up your fears, you have people who help you process them and remind you of your strength. Choosing the right people to surround yourself with is about more than just positive energy. It's also about aligning yourself with those who share similar values, goals, or a growth mindset. People with a growth-oriented mindset understand the importance of persistence, learning, and continuous improvement. They're likely to support your journey of rebuilding because they value the same qualities in their own lives. These people are often focused on becoming better themselves, and being around them inspires you to keep pushing forward. By contrast, individuals with a fixed mindset, who are quick to criticize or discourage, can hold you back and make it harder to believe in yourself. A strong support network can also include mentors or role models, people who have walked the path you're on or achieved goals you aspire to reach. Mentors provide guidance, share their experiences, and offer advice tailored to your unique situation. They can see potential pitfalls, share what worked for them, and help you develop strategies to overcome obstacles. Mentorship can accelerate your growth by giving you insights that you may not find elsewhere. And mentors don't just give advice, they can also be a source of inspiration. Seeing someone who has succeeded at what you're trying to accomplish can reinforce your belief that it's possible for you too. Supportive people also serve as gentle reminders to keep your perspective in check. It's easy to get wrapped up in the frustrations and setbacks that come with personal growth. The right people remind you to step back, take a deep breath, and look at the bigger picture. They remind you to celebrate small victories, acknowledge how far you've come, and be kind to yourself. This perspective can be refreshing, especially when you're feeling down or discouraged. Good friends, mentors, and family members encourage you to see the good even in difficult moments, to appreciate your progress, and to keep going. Building a supportive network takes time and intentionality. It may mean seeking out new relationships, finding people who share similar goals, or distancing yourself from those who drain your energy. But it's worth it. When you surround yourself with people who lift you up, the journey to rebuild yourself becomes more fulfilling and less daunting. Their encouragement, belief, and guidance create an environment that nurtures growth and transformation. Rebuilding yourself doesn't have to be a lonely path. By surrounding yourself with the right people, you create a community that empowers you to reach your goals. You have a team that encourages you, challenges you, and celebrates your progress every step of the way. And as you continue to grow, you may find that you become a source of support and inspiration to others as well. Rebuilding yourself with the help of supportive people is more than just personal transformation. It's about building a network of mutual growth and encouragement, creating a ripple effect that extends beyond just you. As you work to rebuild yourself, one of the most essential principles to embrace is the idea of progress over perfection. Too often, people start their journey of self-improvement with an all-or-nothing mindset. They think that they need to be flawless, that any mistake or imperfection means they failed. But this way of thinking can be incredibly self-sabotaging. When you focus solely on being perfect, you set yourself up for disappointment, because perfection is not only unattainable, it's a mirage. The real power in transformation comes from steady, incremental progress. Shifting your mindset to value progress, no matter how small, over perfection can be a game changer for lasting self-growth. Embracing progress over perfection means accepting that change doesn't happen all at once. Rebuilding yourself is a journey that happens over time, one step at a time. No one becomes a new person overnight, and expecting to do so sets up unrealistic expectations. Progress is the real marker of growth. It might be slow, and it might even feel invisible at times, but every small improvement adds up. It's like planting a seed. You don't see the plant shoot up immediately, but with consistent care and patience, it grows. In the same way, if you focus on improving just a bit each day, you'll start to see real changes over time. Even if you take 2 steps forward and 1 step back, you're still moving forward. One of the benefits of focusing on progress is that it allows you to enjoy the journey. When you aim for perfection, you're constantly judging yourself against an impossible standard, which can make the journey feel like a series of failures. But when you focus on progress, you start to appreciate the small wins along the way. Maybe today you're just a little bit more confident than you were yesterday, or you handled a situation with a bit more grace than you would have in the past. These moments are worth celebrating because they're proof that you're moving in the right direction. Celebrating progress rather than waiting to reach a distant perfect destination helps you stay motivated and enjoy the process of becoming. Progress over perfection also encourages resilience. When you're fixated on being perfect, a single misstep can feel like the end of the world. You might think, I failed today, so I'll never succeed. But with a progress mindset, you understand that setbacks are just part of the process. Every journey has its challenges and its moments of doubt. Instead of seeing these moments as failures, you begin to view them as opportunities to learn and improve. A progress-oriented mindset teaches you that it's okay to fall short sometimes as long as you get back up and keep going. Resilience grows when you learn to see setbacks as temporary and focus on continuing to make small improvements. This focus on progress also keeps you flexible and open to change. When you're not tied to the idea of perfection, you're more willing to experiment, take risks, and try new approaches. You understand that rebuilding yourself is an evolving process, one where adjustments and refinements are a natural part of the path. Perfectionism can keep you rigid, unwilling to deviate from a narrow path for fear of making a mistake. But when you prioritize progress, you're free to adapt as you go, learning from each experience and continually improving. Flexibility is essential for personal growth because it allows you to adjust to new insights, challenges, and opportunities as they arise. Focusing on progress over perfection also builds self-compassion. Rebuilding yourself requires kindness and patience, especially when things don't go as planned. The journey of self-improvement is not a straight line, and there will be days when you fall short. When you focus on perfection, these moments can lead to self-criticism and feelings of inadequacy. But with a progress mindset, you're able to approach yourself with more compassion. You understand that missteps are a natural part of growth, and instead of being hard on yourself, you can gently encourage yourself to keep trying. Self-compassion is essential because it helps you to stay motivated and resilient without tearing yourself down. Another benefit of focusing on progress is that it reinforces your commitment. When you focus on perfection, it's easy to get discouraged because the end goal feels so far away. But when you focus on progress, you're able to see tangible improvements, however small, which strengthens your belief in your ability to change. These small wins add up, creating a sense of momentum that fuels your motivation. Each bit of progress builds upon the last, reinforcing your commitment to continue on your path. You start to see that real transformation is possible, and this belief becomes a powerful driving force to keep moving forward. This mindset also helps you redefine success. Instead of seeing success as a state of being perfect or reaching a final destination, you begin to see success as continuous growth and improvement. Success becomes about being a little bit better today than you were yesterday. When you redefine success in this way, it becomes achievable and sustainable. You're no longer chasing an impossible ideal, you're embracing a realistic and fulfilling path of self-discovery and growth. This redefinition of success empowers you to stay committed to the journey without the pressure of having to reach a flawless version of yourself. Focusing on progress over perfection helps you develop a growth mindset. A growth mindset is the belief that abilities and intelligence can be developed through dedication and hard work. People with a growth mindset see effort as the path to mastery, and they view setbacks as opportunities for improvement. By focusing on progress, you're naturally cultivating a growth mindset because you're shifting your focus from fixed outcomes to continuous improvement. You start to understand that change is possible through effort and persistence. A growth mindset is crucial for rebuilding yourself because it keeps you motivated to learn and grow, even when things are challenging. As you go about the journey of rebuilding yourself, remember that it's not about reaching some perfect version of yourself. It's about becoming a little bit better each day. Small steps, small improvements, and small wins, these are the true markers of growth. Embracing progress over perfection allows you to enjoy the journey, stay resilient in the face of challenges, and cultivate a mindset of lifelong learning. Over time, this approach will lead to meaningful, lasting transformation, and you'll find that the journey itself is just as rewarding as the destination. By focusing on progress, you're committing to a path of continuous growth and self-compassion, allowing you to rebuild yourself in a way that's fulfilling, sustainable, and empowering. As we bring this journey to a close, remember that rebuilding yourself is about embracing a lifelong process of growth, resilience, and self-discovery. Each step, each lesson, each setback is a meaningful part of your story. Growth doesn't require perfection, it requires progress, and each small improvement is a victory in itself. Surround yourself with people who uplift you and don't shy away from failure. It's your greatest teacher. This journey isn't about arriving at a perfect destination or a flawless version of yourself. Instead, it's about embracing change, challenging your limits, and celebrating the progress you make along the way. Commit to becoming a little better each day, knowing that every choice, every effort, and every day spent moving forward matters. Rebuilding yourself is about honoring your potential and allowing yourself the patience, grace, and dedication it takes to become the person you want to be. Step by step, you are creating a new path and building a stronger foundation. It's not about who you were, but who you are becoming, someone resilient, empowered, and committed to growth. Keep going, keep learning, and remember that your journey to rebuild is also your journey to thrive.